Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about a very much requested video, and it's going to be about locum dispensing and dispensing in general as a pharmacy student. So this is everything that you need to know. So the first little topic that I want to talk about is how I actually got into locum dispensing myself, because upon doing like a bit of research and being in the field for a while, there's kind of like two ways that you can get in locum dispensing from a pharmacy student background. And I kind of got through the other way, but I'm going to also talk about the other way that other students get in, which is a lot more faster and easier. So, the reason why I started dispensing was because in first year, around after semester one, I did like a full semester and I moved all the way to London. So obviously I needed a bit of money. And I'm very guilty in a sense where I don't like to take a lot of time away from my work, because psychologically in my head, I get to a point where I start stressing and then I'm like, I'm not doing enough. So I wanted a job where I could actually do a a bit of revision on the job and not feel so guilty having to work like 10 or 15 hours a week. And then I thought, well, I do pharmacy, let's have a look into pharmacy dispensing. Um, how I come across that in semester one at pharmacy school, I did a bit of dispensing in workshops. It's changed a lot now because it's not prioritized as much as we're going down the more clinical route. But because I did the first 2 years of the old course, I did a lot of dispensing. Like we used to have weekly Tuesday workshops where we'd have to dispense different things like liquids, CDs, and everything. So I had a bit of experience as it is. When I was looking for pharmacy dispensers jobs, I looked on Indeed, I looked on LinkedIn, I looked at like the common chains as well. So like Superdrug, Asda, Boots. Independent ones in the area normally post on Indeed, but also NHS jobs as well, and also had a go at emailing a few independent pharmacies because they have a lot more like jurisdiction in deciding who gets hired or not. It's a lot quicker process because they own the pharmacy or they directly know the owner. So that's kind of what I did. I applied to a few positions on the Boots website. I got accepted for an interview at a Boots in a community pharmacy. I didn't really like it as much, but I wasn't desperate, but I was like, I'd just take anything at this rate. I did an interview, but the manager was like sick, and I just thought, oh, I'm not going to get it. But I thought I did really well. And then the next week, I just applied for a bunch on Boots, and I actually got offered an interview to do for a Boots pharmacy job, but in an outpatients pharmacy within the area, and it was really close to home, and it was hospital experience, which I knew that I'd be getting loads of community experience at university because that's kind of what they always throw you into. So I was like, I need to really try hard in this hospital experience job interview. And then I did the interview and I actually got the job. So I was like, it was like fate that that person didn't come and I didn't get that job, because of that. The next week after, I literally got a job in a hospital pharmacy. So everyone always asks me how did I actually get into the hospital pharmacy job that I did through my TikTok, but I just applied to a bunch of jobs and Boots, and then I took whatever there was. It was just like by chance. It was nothing special, like or anything. I just did an interview, discussed like what when I was free at the time. I was free on Thursdays, and I did weekends as well. So I did a weekends for about 2 years. So I would do university. Um, from Monday to Friday, and then we work weekends. So like it was like 7 days a week. Uni was less intense, but it used to be hard during placements because you used to do 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and then I'd work on the weekends. So I wouldn't really get a break, but um, it was worth it. I learned so much. I learned so much on the job. It took a lot of studying away from what I actually had to do because I knew so much. Like I always used to know all the doses and how to go about certain weight-based dosing and things like that, because especially on the weekends we had locum pharmacists, so I had to know a lot more to kind of guide them on how to use like all the systems and stuff. But that's kind of how I got into a hospital pharmacy job. Then I'll get onto locum in a sec. Boots has this thing where they try and get either everyone is trained or is going through training. So even though I was a pharmacy student, my manager was really big on the fact that if you're not like training on something, you have to be. So I got asked to put on the NVQ level 2 pharmacy dispensing or pharmacy assistant course. It's supposed to take like, they give you like 6 months to a year. Everything that I kind of did, everything in that NVQ level 2 assessment was basically just first year pharmacy. So there was 3 assessments that I did, or 2, I literally can't remember, but you set a series of assessments alongside the online learning that you're doing, and it's just a lot of the stuff that you cover in responding to symptoms so that you're confident enough to stand on the medicine counter and dispense and things like that. And I passed them really well and got signed off, and I got my NVQ level 2. Well, I was signed to the course for about from like May, because you do 3 months probation and then they put you on the course. I didn't really start because I had exams, so I started around September time properly doing it, and I got my NVQ level 2 in December. So it took me about 3 months ish of work, and then the rest of in between time was just waiting around for certificates and to do the next test and to get signed off by my supervisor. The NVQ level 2, I'll go into more detail in a second, is how I got into locum dispensing, because a lot of the platforms that I would have a look into locum dispensing on would say you need NVQ level 2, and that's how I got it. So I kind of left that job because I was fed up of doing weekends. So I did 2 years of it, and then I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. And then I went into locum dispensing because I had that NVQ level 2 with me. So I do get a lot of questions about what is the NVQ level 2. So an NVQ level 2 is like a national verified qualification. It's equivalent to a GCSE, of actually being able to do pharmacy dispensing. It's if you've got a pharmacy experience, as in you're a pharmacy student, you'll pass that test with flying colours. The questions are a bit like tricky, but it's just first year university content. But if you didn't, then just really take your time to understand things. I even made notes. I think I've still got my notes. I've kept them, of like what's in the course, and it's just make as much notes as you can and just revise like a normal test, and it's fine. It's not time pressured. And also, and I know the provider with my boots was the provider for mine, that they let you sit the test like 2 times, I think, before you can't do it again. So you've got like retakes and stuff, so you should be fine. Um, and also, I get a lot of questions about provider. It's not much of an issue with who your provider is. I know there's Buttercups and the NPA do it, uh, but you just need to make sure. What the issue with providers is how much the cost of the course is. Because if you do the dispensing course and your pharmacy that you work at provided and like paid for it, then they might have conditions where they're like, you can't leave so many months after completing the course because you have to kind of pay it back. So you're kind of locked in. But I stayed anyway for like 6 months to kind of verify that, just in case, and then I left. Another thing that locum platforms did ask for was a smart card. You get this through your pharmacy. So I had a smart card, and my pharmacy manager was like, "Oh, you're a dispenser now. You don't really even need a qualification for it. I think if you just need access to like um patient material and stuff in the hospital, they kind of give it willy-nilly. But if you work in a pharmacy, I know that they require you to be a pharmacy dispenser, and you or a pharmacy with some sort of experience before you can get a smart card. The process is you just need to get your community pharmacy to refer you, then you can just go with all your IDs and documents, and they'll do it quite quick. The whole point of a smart card is is basically this card that you put in the computer at the pharmacy, because the pharmacy keyboards are weird. They've got like a little slot. And also in the hospitals, you get like a smart card. You put that in, and it comes up with like the computer system that you like your SCR access. SCR means like your summary care record, and it just gives you all the patient information if you want to track a prescription, and it's on the spine and things like that. The reason why it's so like encrypted is because not everyone can have access to that. So there's not much like that you need to know about that. You just need to ask the pharmacy that you work at. It's pretty hard to get locum access, like a locum smart card. I tried to get one through, like, I think if you ask your um like your jurisdiction where you at, or ask your locum agency, they can give you more information on that, because you need kind of someone to refer you or to email them, but they take like ages to get back to you. Because I tried to get smart card access, so while I was on placement at the hospital I used to work at, I just went to the man and I was like, I need SCR access, and he just put it on. So you can just go there. They don't really do anything in the office anyway, but they always act like they're busy. So there's that. The reason why smart cards, you don't necessarily need one, because a lot of independent pharmacies just have them lying in it there anyway. But I know Superdrug likes for you to have one. They're like, don't take this shift if you don't have a smart card. So just you can get away with not having one, but some pharmacies are like specified that they do, and it just limits the pharmacies that you can locum for if they specifically ask for you to have one. But it's not a big of a deal. Next question I get is what locum companies are out there that I can join. So I talked about having an MVQ level 2. I actually want to talk about like some locum agencies that I'm going to bring up now allow pharmacy students to actually join as dispensers without having the MVQ level 2, because if you're at pharmacy school you've kind of learned enough. I don't think they have a time frame, but I think you have to at least have finished first year and be in second and third year. But don't locum unless you're comfortable with dispensing. Like, if you don't know how to whack a label on something, if you don't know how to dispense and put the batch number on the back, and you don't feel confident, then don't do it. Only apply when you've done it, because it's just going to make you stress even more if you don't feel confident enough. So that's kind of my advice. So that's kind of the two ways. You either go in with the MVQ, or you can go in as a pharmacy student on your own merit, contact the locum agency yourself, say, can you put me on the platform as a pharmacy student, and just make sure you've done first year. That's my best advice. I think it's best for third years, apparently. In my opinion, I think third years should maybe go for locum dispensing, because you're just definitely confident. But if you're really good at dispensing and you've got that experience prior, maybe second year as well. So with the locum companies, there's a few that I'm going to talk about. So, and I'm going to kind of rank them. So the first one that I use a lot is Locum Prime. The reason why I prefer Locum Prime is because you get your own designated person that when you apply for a shift, you can just message them and then say, I've applied for a shift, I haven't heard back. And they'll try and get in contact with the pharmacy to fasten it up. It's just a bit more like support. That's why I prefer Locum Prime. And they're just a lot more quicker, and you're not waiting around, and you actually get to speak to someone. That's what I value more. Yeah, so there's Locum Prime, and I'll put like a little picture of it up here, and then I'll put a link below if I can. But just type in Locum Prime on the App Store, it should come up. Then there's Locator Locum. Locator Locum is a good locum platform, but I think it's better for pharmacists than it is for pharmacy dispensers, because they just take ages to get like to accept a shift. Whereas I can know my friends for pharmacists, they're like, yeah, it's. I just think it's quicker on locum prime. Like they do it within a couple of days. Whereas on Locator Locum, I'm just waiting around. But they do have a better variety of shifts on there with like the bigger name companies. That's why Locator Locum's better. But I think the success rate of you getting a locum shift on there is a bit lower than if you want a locum prime. Then it brings me on to Clarity Locums. Clarity Locums is basically Locator Locum. I booked a shift through there, and then it kind of emailed me back with like all the Locator Locum stuff. There is also Team Locum. I didn't write it here, but I want to talk about Team Locum's quite good. But the reason why I didn't sign up with them is that you need two references, and I don't like hassling my uni for pharmacist like references and stuff. So I was like, I need to basically get back to them and do it, but I'm not too fussed. But I know a lot of people up north, like north of the country, use Team Locum and they're just as good. So I'd probably say Locum Prime and Team Locum are probably the best two for pharmacy dispensers. I'm looking here because I've got notes. Um, then we've got something called Workflare. Rubbish. I wouldn't use that. And then I want to address like NHS Bank because I locumed a bit on NHS Bank as well. It's not like it's a locum agency, but it's just if you want something quick and less headache and you've got a lot of experience in hospital, and you've done that before and you're moving into locuming, then have a look at NHS Bank because I obviously did my training in outpatient pharmacy and I did a bit in inpatient as well. So I looked at NHS Bank and it was a bit like it just it's a good locum job. They pay really well, but um it's just hard to get onboarded. It's so much work. Like you'll just like don't give up, but it's so much work. They'll send you like an appointed person and like you have to send like all your health records because you have to get signed off by occupational health, and like the process is like the same process I'd probably say is like getting a job in the NHS, like the amount of stuff that you have to send over. um it's just difficult. So I wouldn't do that unless you've got hospital experience and you've got all those documentation of like the red book when you're born and stuff. It's just long, and also it's hard. Inpatient pharmacy dispensing is hard. It's like blister packs. So don't do that unless you are very, very experienced. Um or know someone there that can vouch for you basically. That's kind of what it is. So if I rank them, I'd probably put Locum Prime, Team Locum, Locator Locum, NHS Bank, Clarity Locums, and Workflare. That's kind of the ones that I've kind of got. If you've got any more, then comment below. But those are the ones I've used. And there's like Zen Locum, but they've shut down and things like that. So yeah. So then you've got onto the pharmacy locum dispenser platform. The things that they ask for are your DBS. You can just use your uni DBS. I think I used to just use my university DBS, and also I'm more moving in and out of like jobs all the time, so I always have DBSs all the time coming through. So I just use my latest one. I normally get like one or two a year. So just use your latest one. If you don't have one and it's a bit old, you can just pay and then pay it back through your shifts. They'll just take it out. I know that Locator Locum do that. They're a bit better with admin and stuff. And actually, I got a question the other day, and it was about what do actual locum dispensers do? You'll never get asked to do something out of the ordinary. It is in the name. You'll get asked to dispense. You'll walk in, you just say, "Oh, I'm the locum dispenser covering today." A lot of the time, they'll probably say, "Can you start downloading prescriptions and then start dispensing them?" That is kind of like the main thing. A lot of the time, they would print off the prescriptions for me, so I was just sticking on labels all day. So it's just that easy. Sometimes I want you to cover the counter, and that's pretty much it. I've never been asked to do anything out of the ordinary. I've been asked to do stock. It's basically similar to placement. It is just placement, but they expect you to know a bit more. Then finally, we're going to be talking about pay. Locum pay at the minute is awful. It's used to be sky high and then now it's reduced. You get a lot of minimum wage locum dispenser shifts, which make no sense to me. So you're ranging from like I'd say typically on the platforms it's 12 to 14 an hour. Um, that's on the lowest. That's what I've taken. I try and take nothing lower than 14 an hour now. Like you have to have like your limits because the whole big thing is don't take low locum shifts because then these pharmacies think it's acceptable to pay people these rates. But if you're desperate, then take it because that is minimum wage and you have a qualification and you're a student. You should be getting paid more than that. I know some people look for emergency shifts where they can go all the way to like £20. If you directly know the pharmacy manager, you can negotiate a rate. I've negotiated a normal rate to 16 an hour before, but it truly depends. In terms of pay, just don't take utterly low. And I'd probably say the average is 14 an hour. Some people say they get paid loads, but it just comes with who you know and reaching out to pharmacies and then negotiating directly. The agencies seem to lower it a bit. If I know that if you do it directly yourself, you can kind of get higher. I think the most that I probably say with locum in is probably in the holidays that I did like a locum shift and I got paid 5 days a week, 9 to 6 for 16 an hour. And that was decent. And that was actually up north. You'd think it would be in London, but it was not. So I'd probably just say don't expect something so extravagant, but it's just basic pay, and just pick what you want to work for. And that's it. That's kind of everything that I need to say about locum dispensing because I get loads of questions about it, and there's not much out there on there. And it's nothing extravagant. It's quite simple. It's very good if you've got a pharmacy degree that requires you to be in so much on your timetable shifts every day where you can't get consistency. That's kind of like my uni. Um, but I'd probably say ask your agency, and also just be more aware and be proactive because they don't like lazy locums. And from dispenser experience, I don't like lazy locums. So just be the best person that you can be. Represent yourself as well, because who knows, your uni might send you there on placement when you've just locum there and they may not like you again. But yeah, if you have any more questions, then just comment them below and I'll try and answer them in the comments. And good luck on your locuming journey. Bye.